Hey guys, how's it going? So I hope you're having a good day today, and I hope all is going well with you. So this is going to be an episode of King Cat After Dark. Ooh, scary. No, but seriously though, I like to do these videos during the day because I just like being in the daylight. And I just think it works so much better. But this was just too good to wait, and I just couldn't contain myself. So, Radio Insight is reporting that 89X 88.7 FM in Windsor, Ontario may be returning to the 89X format. About 5 years ago, a little less than 5 years ago, 89X was dumped in favor of country as Country 89. And which kind of left a void in the Detroit market, even though 88.7 these days is solely focusing on the Canadian side of the river. But, and then Detroit has had an alternative rock station, of course, as with Alt 98.7. So that might not make a real difference this time, but this is kind of interesting news in my opinion, because when 89X ended about 5 years ago, my own view was the station had run its course. The station kind of had gotten stagnant, and it just seemed to lack direction, and it was just a shell of its former self. So when 89X kind of left the airwaves, it was kind of like, they passed their glory days. But with it coming back now, they may now have an opportunity to redeem themselves. So I'm going to sort of discuss what I think should happen if 89X does return to the airwaves. So if 89X comes back, here's what I would like to see on the station. Don't go trying to chase a younger audience, because you're just not going to get them. Instead, focus on the audience that grew up with 89X. That listened to 89X back in the 90s, and that listened to 89X maybe in the very, very first part of the 2000s. Focus on that. I know the station, of course, is going to have CanCon content, but that wasn't a problem for them before. And I mean, there's plenty of groups, that meet that criteria for sure. But there were a lot of songs from, especially the 89X I'm thinking of is like around 1996, 1997, up until about 2000 or so, and maybe a little bit before. So I say make the playlist, the bulk of the playlist, 90s music. And sprinkle in some new stuff, but focus on the 90s. Meaning bands like Stone Temple Pilots, Pearl Jam, Rage Against the Machine, 311. And then some other, and some other songs that you just don't hear anymore, really, on any station anywhere, like Elastica, Connection, Rusted Roots, Send Me On My Way. Then of course, this would be CanCon content. Sloan, play some Sloan for sure. Maybe play some. I think this was the name of the group, Placebo, Drinking in LA. That got played a lot back on 89X in the late 90s. But there's a lot of different music, to play out there. And the audience that listened to 89X back in the late 90s or whatever, I think you would get a lot of people that would listen to that, because really, a lot of the 90s alternative, while it's still played on the radio, not a ton of it is played really anymore. Because like you'll hear some stuff like on active rock stations, like Pearl Jam and Stone Temple Pilots and Alice in Chains and Rage Against the Machine and stuff like that. But you don't hear really some of the other what do I want to say, lesser known or lesser played groups. So my suggestion would be kind of stick with the 90s. Don't play Metallica, please. Most overrated band on the face of this earth. No Van Halen. No classic rock stuff. Just, as I say, just stick with the 90s. The type of music like, I guess that was on like when I was in high school, for example, or a little bit after. And you can't forget the 89X bumper stickers. You got to bring those back too. I mean, I think I I think about back in the day, I think every kid's first car or second car had an 89X sticker, like in the Detroit area and in southeast Michigan. You saw plenty of those on the back of old Honda Accords and Pontiac Grand Ams and Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierras and, all those kind of cars that, were around back then. So if 89X returns, I think they have a tremendous opportunity to begin a second chapter, and we'll have to see. What happens with that. We'll have to see if any of the old hosts come back. If any of them are still in the radio biz, I'm not sure. And maybe you guys could answer this question for me. I mean, Kelly Brown comes to mind. Fat Matt comes to mind. And there's a couple others that come to mind too. So this is going to be interesting to see. And if I didn't mention it before, you can hear the sign off of 89X. I recorded it and it is uploaded to this page. So go into my page and type it in the search or go through the Detroit Air Checks playlist, because I just have such a poop ton of videos on here. Sometimes I forget what I have and what I don't have. Well, guys, what do you think? What do you think could happen? If 89X does come back, what do you want to see? What songs would you like to hear again? And did you listen to 89X back in the day? What kind of memories do you have of the station? And maybe I'll do a second video about my own memories of the station and alternative rock radio back in the 90s. So, that's going to do it for me, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And as always, guys, have a great rest of your day.